A team that hires a minority head coach would move up 6 spots in the 3rd round of the draft prior to that coach's 2nd season. Number 2, a team would move up 10 spots in the 3rd round for hiring a person of color as its GM. And if the head coach and GM positions are filled with a minority candidate in the same year, a team could actually move from the top of the 3rd round to the middle of the 2nd round. And more draft incentives would be available for teams that do not fire the head coach or GM within his first 2 seasons. That's a little summary. Reaction now from our Michael Wilbon.
I'm conflicted here. I mean, I want to say attaboy to the league, the people in the league offices and around the league who look at the situation in 2020 and go, my God, this is awful. We've got to do something. So let me isolate that sentiment that is being felt in multiple quarters around the league and say, yeah, I'm with you there. But Tony, if the league has to do this in 2020, how awful, how pathetic is the NFL? This is sad, Tone, that they would have to incentivize it in such an obvious way that they can't pull themselves together and simply interview and hire qualified black people. Are you serious? What is this, 1947?
NFL front office insider Louis Riddick is live with us on SportsCenter now with more on the proposal to reward teams with draft picks based on the race of the coaches and GMs that they hire. Louis, what is your reaction?
Yeah, all the things that Mike Wilbon just said, look, I've had those emotions already just looking at this whole thing and trying to digest this whole thing. I mean, really what this boils down to is the fact that, look, the diversity committee is doing all they can do to try and get owners to move on hiring more minorities and people of color. Obviously, they understand it's a problem. They're trying to do everything they can in order to correct that problem. But in effect, what this new proposal does, it is telling people like myself who have interviewed for high-ranking positions, it's not just about your competency. It's not about that. It's really about whether or not there's something else that would make us move on this kind of situation. And quite honestly, that is something that's insulting. It's very insulting to a person like myself who has been through this process. I cannot say, honestly, that I feel as though I was discriminated against in any way. I feel as though my interviews were on the level and they were done in an exemplary way, particularly the interview that I had with the New York Giants and John Mara. And we talked about it after I wasn't hired for that position. But what this is telling people overall, what this is telling potential candidates is this. It may not just be about how good you are. It may be how advantageous certain owners feel as though this situation makes it for them outside of what you would bring to the table. And that's defeating. That's insulting. That's not the way it should be. But that's the situation at hand. And this is what the diversity committee has had to resort to. And that's pretty sad.
Every single person out there, no matter the job, wants to be hired based on being competent, not for any other reason. You and I have talked about this, and again, you've interviewed for 3 different general managers' jobs. You and I have talked about this for a long time. Why do you think we're here, Louis? Why do you think the lack of minority hiring has gotten to the point that the owners would put something out here like this that is insulting to many?
Well, I think what it is, Sage, look, there needs to be more networking opportunities for people of color to be able to get in front of team presidents and team owners in settings that aren't just formal interviews for a GM job. That cannot be the first time that many people like myself are able to get in front of these individuals and talk to them so they can get to know them on a personal one-on-one basis. Because I can tell you this, that is a large reason. That is really the major reason why many times people get hired, because it's a comfort level. Because this is a people business. It's a relationship business. And people tend to hire people in positions of power that are very similar to them, or that they have a comfort level with, or that look like them. That's just human nature. That's just the way it goes in interpersonal relationships. So for someone like myself who really hasn't traveled in the same circles and had the same kind of experiences as 99% of the owners in this league, for your interview process to really be the first time that you ever are around them, a lot of times you're just not able to strike up that comfort level. So I think that's really going to be the next phase to get this moving along, because you cannot force owners to do things they don't want to. That's obvious. That's why they've had to resort to this, and why people like myself are sitting there going, wow, it's not just about how good I am anymore now, is it?
That absolutely hurts. We've also discussed, okay, well, we need new black people of color as owners. Well, you can't just say, hey, you're a rich minority, go buy an NFL team. I mean, everybody does things as they want to, correct? As far as the immediate solutions.
That's exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's a personal thing. As far as the immediate solutions, though, Lewis, networking, that's something I haven't heard of. What does that look like to you? Is it something formal and organized? Like in this industry, we have the National Association of Black Journalists. We have networking opportunities. What does that look like in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that the diversity committee is going to have to think about and come up with and see if they can create opportunities, whether it be at big time events, whether it be the Super Bowl or the scouting combine or whatever, or just really organizing this kind of event on their own and saying, hey, look, these are situations where we need to get people in front of the people who are doing the hiring to where it's a relaxed, comfortable atmosphere to where people can kind of get to know each other one-on-one a little bit more. I mean, really, I don't know where else you can go other than that because, look, the simple fact of the matter, Sage, is this. You cannot force owners to hire people they don't want to hire. You just can't. Now, how can you kind of make them feel as though, kind of help lead them down the path to hiring some people who are more, some more minorities and people of color? Increase their comfort level. How do you increase their comfort level? Get them around them more. Create more opportunities for them to get to know them more. Because outside of that, nothing's going to change.
I love your honesty with this, though, Lewis, because it is painful in many ways to hear that it isn't just about your qualifications and the job that you can do and that you've proven that you can do. The proposals will be discussed during next week's NFL owners meetings. And once again, in order to get the approval, it needs 24 of the 32 owners voting for it. Again, that is Tuesday. Louis Riddick, thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.